Little pamphlet here, just this morning, right? It's just fresh off the press, and what we're saying here is our statement concerning our views as far as Nobbys. Free Nobbys, that's our slogan, free Nobbys. The community wants Nobbys headland to be made safe and open to everybody without inappropriate overdevelopment. That's number one. Number two, Nobbys Lighthouse is an important navigational aid at the Port of Newcastle. The lighthouse is maintained in good order and condition. It's not going to fall down. It's maintained by the Australian Maritime Safety Authority under an Act of Parliament and must be preserved, protected and promoted as a lighthouse. Not as some sort of bastardised lighthouse because of buildings right up to its base and around it. Our position is this: the Nobbys headland and surrounds must be open to the public. Nobbys Lighthouse must stand free and be seen as a lighthouse. The heritage values of the site of Waibagamba, the Aboriginal home of the giant kangaroo, must be respected. Adaptive reuse of the existing cottages is advocated by the Parks and Playgrounds movement. We reject the current development proposed because it impacts on the historic lighthouse, the Nobbys Lighthouse, which was the reason why the Aboriginal dreaming place of Waibagamba was originally cut down to less than half its size. It was cut down for a lighthouse, and we don't want that, and it was bad enough to do that at the time because it was against the wishes of the people of Newcastle and the mariners using the area, using the port. In 1853 they had public indignation meetings in Newcastle to stop the blowing up of Nobbys. Colonel Barney had convicts digging holes underneath Nobbys chambers for the packing of explosives and gunpowder, for the blowing up of the whole Aboriginal heritage, and it was stopped by people pressure. And it's really important that you, all of you, write to Mr. Garrett and tell him that Nobbys must stand free. Nobbys Lighthouse must stand free as a lighthouse and not be bastardised in development. The Newcastle community may best be served by setting up a trust to administer Nobbys and take it out of the hands of the Port Corporation, who have not managed it properly. Behind us is a widened road way to Nobbys. It's against the conditions of consent that the Port Corporation were given, but they went and did it last February. They had bulldozers and big cranes, men working on there to widen that road and dig and fill. And when they were asked what they were doing, the Port Corporation said, "Oh, we're just removing bisu bush." So the heritage authorities of New South Wales said, "Oh, that's all right, you can remove bitter bush, but if you want to widen the road, you'll have to make an application." Well, too bad, it's been done. And this road should have been carefully built. It's a jerry-built road. The runoff from it runs down the hill and erodes, and it will not last long. But this is such an important place, not only to the Aboriginal people, but to us who have unfortunately disregarded Aboriginal heritage for 200 years or more. And I want to read to you the memorial that was sent to the Governor. The Professor, Her Excellency Professor Marie Bashir, ACCVO, Governor of the State of New South Wales. This memorial was the modern day memorialists who sent this petition to the Governor worded this in the same style as the petition that was sent to the Governor-General back in 1853. Now, it reads, Her Excellency Professor Marie Bashir, AC CVO, Governor of the State of New South Wales, memorial of the undersigned inhabitants of Newcastle and others concerned in the preservation of Nobbys headland, humbly showeth that the port and harbour of Newcastle is indicated to shipmasters arriving at it by a remarkable promontory, formerly an island, called Nobbys, which is of the utmost importance to the people of Newcastle and New South Wales, and further, a most eligible position for a lighthouse, and that Nobbys is the symbol of Newcastle and the centrepiece of the Coal River precinct, which is the birth site of modern city of Newcastle. That your memorialists have been informed that the Newcastle Port Corporation and Nobbys Lighthouse Proprietary Limited have been in breach of the Environmental Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act of 1999 and do intend to build out the unique Nobbys Lighthouse on the said promontory by means of unsympathetic modern buildings that impact on the lighthouse. The Newcastle Port Corporation, using their powers under Section 116C of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act of 1979, have obtained consent from the New South Wales authorities for the proposal without consideration of the Commonwealth heritage values of the historic lighthouse. The Port Corporation has already excavated and widened the roadway to the summit as part of the proposal. I might add, that was done illegally, unlawfully. Your memorialists believe that there is a danger of overdevelopment of the said promontory, with modern buildings in front of and impacting on the heritage lighthouse. Your memorialists therefore humbly request Your Excellency will cause inquiry to be made in order that the Nobbys Lighthouse be protected and allowed to stand free as a sentinel at the entrance to the Port of Newcastle for many years to come, and that any development of Newcastle's iconic headland and signal station cottages be by adaptive reuse and that rather than by new buildings. And your memorialists, as in duty bound, will ever pray. On this day, this was sent on Friday the 30th of March 2007, being the 203rd anniversary of the founding of the city of Newcastle by Lieutenant Charles Menzies, under the order of His Excellency Philip Gidley King, Governor of the colony of New South Wales at that time. And unless there's somebody else that wants to add something more, I intend to symbolically open the headland to the people of Newcastle and Australia. I hope we'll have 3 good hearty cheers when this action is taking place. I hereby open the headland of Nobbys to the people of Newcastle and of Australia.
Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!